Jey Uso cut an emotional promo after this week's episode of WWE Raw ended. He won the Intercontinental Championship in the main event of the show. The former Bloodline member collided with Braun Breaker, who captured the title at SummerSlam. The latter was able to kick out of the spear and frog splash combination, but main event Jey did it again, and it worked out for him. He finally won his first singles championship in WWE. After the show ended, Jey Uso celebrated his win with the crowd. When Jackie Redmond asked him to describe how he was feeling, he stated, "The 39-year-old star was very emotional, as it was a big accomplishment for him." Braun Breaker's reign came to an end in just 51 days. It was a moment fans will remember for years to come, one of those rare, iconic nights in WWE history where an underdog rises from the ashes of adversity to claim their place among legends. Jey Uso, one half of the renowned Usos tag team and a pillar of the Samoan wrestling dynasty, stood tall after WWE Raw, holding the Intercontinental Championship high above his head. But it wasn't the gold that had the crowd buzzing. It was the journey, the emotions, and the heart-wrenching promo Jey delivered post-match that left an indelible mark on everyone in attendance. For years, Jey Uso had been seen as a tag team specialist, alongside his brother Jimmy, tearing through the tag division with accolades that cemented their legacy as one of the greatest teams in WWE history. They held championship gold multiple times, headlined shows, and even stood in the main event spotlight during their feuds with some of the most iconic tag teams of this generation. But this moment was different. For the first time, Jey stood alone, a singles competitor, fighting not just for a belt, but for respect, recognition, and his place in the annals of WWE history as an individual. After a long and bitter feud with his cousin Roman Reigns, and being overshadowed by the Bloodline saga, this was a chance for Jey to step out of the shadows and prove that he wasn't just a sidekick in a larger family narrative. The match itself was a grueling affair, facing an opponent as formidable as Gunther, a champion who had established himself as one of the most dominant and physically imposing intercontinental champions in modern WWE history. Jey was the clear underdog. But time and time again, Jey has shown that the bloodline of Samoan warriors runs deep, and no matter the odds, he has the heart of a fighter. In what can only be described as a classic, Jey Uso pulled off a miraculous win, using every ounce of grit, determination, and cunning to outlast and outsmart Gunther, finally delivering a devastating superkick, followed by his signature Uso splash to claim the Intercontinental Championship. The crowd erupted. After years of fighting, after the betrayals, after the losses and the heartbreak, Jey Uso had finally done it. The arena was still buzzing, fans chanting Uso, as the music faded and Jey stood in the center of the ring, visibly overcome with emotion. Microphone in hand, Jey's eyes scanned the crowd. He took a deep breath, but for a moment, he couldn't speak. His eyes glistened with tears, the gravity of the moment sinking in. He lifted the microphone to his mouth, his voice shaking, but resolute. This ain't just about this belt," he began, holding the Intercontinental Championship close to his chest. "This is about proving to everyone, and proving to myself, that I'm more than just part of the bloodline, that I'm more than just one of the Usos." The crowd roared in response, fully aware of the emotional weight behind Jey's words. For years, Jey had been fighting for recognition in a family that included megastars like Roman Reigns and The Rock, men whose names were synonymous with greatness. It wasn't just about winning titles. It was about carving out his own path in the shadow of these giants. "People doubted me. People said I was just a tag guy, that I couldn't do it on my own." Jey continued, his voice rising with each word. "But you know what? I didn't listen to them. I listened to my heart. I listened to all of y'all." The crowd's energy swelled and chants of "you deserve it" filled the arena. It was a sentiment that resonated deeply with Jey. This wasn't just a win for him. It was a win for every fan who had supported him from day one, who believed in his ability to break out as a singles star. His eyes scanned the audience, taking in the faces of the people who had stood by him through every high and low. "This past year," Jey said, his voice thick with emotion, "it's been the hardest time of my life. Losing family, losing friends, standing alone when everyone else turned their back on me. But I didn't give up. I fought for my family. I fought for myself. And tonight, I proved that I belong." Jey Uso's Intercontinental Championship win isn't just another title change in the history books of WWE. It represents a new chapter for a man who has often been overlooked, but never outshone. The emotional promo he cut after the match showed the depth of his character and the strength of his resolve. He's not just fighting for a title, he's fighting for respect, for validation, and for the opportunity to carve his own legacy apart from the massive shadow cast by the bloodline. As Jey Uso walked up the ramp that night, holding his newly won championship clothes, the WWE Universe knew they had just witnessed the birth of a new chapter in Jey Uso's storied career. And if his emotional promo was anything to go by, Jey Uso is ready to take on the world, one match at a time.